Thank you,
Biafra.
Thank you for standing with Israel. Thank you for standing with the American-Israeli alliance. And thank you for standing up for the truth. Now I know that's not been easy because over the past 2 years, we've all been subjected to a tsunami of lies, vilifications, vituperations that are reminiscent of the worst anti-Semitic attacks in history. I know you have been suffering such attacks. The American Jewish community and other Jewish communities have suffered not only anti-Semitic slurs, but also murderous attacks. And of course, so did we in Israel. We suffered on October 7th a brutal attack that was meant to destroy us, to wipe Israel off the map. That's what the Iran Axis sought to do on October 7th. Iran's proxies sought and seek to annihilate the Jewish people, and their patron Iran sought and seeks to annihilate the Jewish state. But for the past 2 years, since October 7th, we've rolled them back. We fought a seven-front war against this axis of evil. And thanks to the incredible courage of our soldiers, we rolled back this threat to our existence and to our future. We battered Hamas, we hammered Hezbollah, we helped bring down the murderous Assad regime, we struck the Houthis, we attacked pro-Iranian militias, and we also attacked Iran itself. With America's help, we rolled back Iran's nuclear bomb program and its ballistic missile threat. That axis has been greatly weakened, but it's still there. It's licking its wounds. It still chants, death to America, death to Israel. I appreciate the efforts that President Trump is making to ensure that those threats against both our countries do not reappear. We have never had a greater friend in the White House than President Donald J. Trump. And I want to tell you that I value the support of Americans from both sides of the aisle. I know it's been difficult for some, and I respect your courage, your honesty, the fact that you're willing to stand up against colleagues who sometimes bow their head to this anti-Semitism. You do not. I salute you. As far as Gaza is concerned, we set 3 objectives. The first was to return all our hostages. And with the incredible heroism of our soldiers, we returned most of them. But still we had a few dozen hostages that remain in Gaza, both living and dead. And people said basically, you either submit to Hamas or you're never going to get them out. We thought, and I thought, otherwise. With our military action into Hamas's last stronghold, Gaza City, and with President Trump's bold diplomatic pressure on the other side, we combined those twin pressures and got all of our hostages out, right to the last hero, Rani Gvili. We got every single hostage back. Many didn't believe we'd do it, but I believed it. President Trump believed it, and we did it. And I thank each of you for your support because I know so many of you contributed to this effort in so many ways. Thank you. Thank you all for the efforts you did. The second objective we set out to achieve is to dismantle Hamas's military and governing capabilities. We're well on our way to achieve that too. Hamas must disarm and Gaza must be demilitarized. Now that can be done the easy way or it can be done the hard way. But I can assure you, it will be done. The third objective we set out to do is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. That requires de-radicalization. That's a difficult word, but it means re-education. It means a change. It's been done in other parts of the world. It's been done in some Gulf states. It's been done in Japan and Germany. So the first thing we have to make sure is de-radicalization. But that also depends on security arrangement, where Israel is responsible for overall security. Israel and Israel alone can guarantee that, and we shall. I want to say a few words about the state of the American-Israeli alliance. In many ways, it's never been stronger. The extent, the depth of our cooperation is astounding. It would have been unimaginable just a few years ago, but it's there. And this serves not only the interest of Israel, but it serves the interest of the United States. Israel provides invaluable intelligence, technology, and regional cooperation in ways that serve the interests of the United States and its allies. The United States National Security Council issued a memorandum a few weeks ago. I don't know if you read it. If you haven't, you must. Because it called Israel, and only Israel, of all the countries on the planet, it called Israel the United States model ally. America is Israel's indispensable ally, and Israel is America's model ally. That doesn't surprise any of you, because you've been championing this alliance for so many years, and I salute you for doing that. One thing that we understand is that the challenges before us have not ended. But this alliance gives us the opportunity to fashion a new reality in our region, a reality of security, prosperity, and peace. And the benefits will accrue not only to us, but to America and its allies as well. See, when Israel intercepts a missile over Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, we're not only protecting our children, we're pioneering the technologies that protect America's soldiers, America's allies, and America's homeland. This is not a one-way alliance. It is shared security, shared innovation, shared strength. Our goal is a totally different Middle East, a Middle East where radical axes are replaced by alliances of innovation, where terror corridors are replaced by trade corridors, where peace is built not on illusion, but on strength. That's why I've told Iran that if it attacks us, we will respond with unimaginable force. And we are committed to defending our allies, including the Druze in Syria. We saved them from massacres. But even as we win on the battlefield, we're fighting on another front. We're fighting on the battle for truth. The truth is that we were brutally attacked on October 7th. The truth is that we have fought a just war by just means on 7 fronts. The truth is that from Gaza to Yemen to Iran, we have hit our enemies harder than they've been ever hit before. But the truth is also this: we've been vilified and falsely accused of genocide at the very moment when, according to John Spencer, head of urban warfare studies at West Point and perhaps the world's greatest expert on urban warfare, he said Israel applied more measures to prevent civilian casualties than any military in the history of urban warfare. That is the truth. Radical voices on the left spread lies about genocide. Radical voices on the right demand that Jews take DNA tests. Both are wrong, both are dangerous, and both must be confronted. Because this is not just a war for security, it's a war for truth. The truth is that the Jewish people have lived in our ancestral homeland, the land of Israel, for 3,500 years. The truth is that David set our capital, King David set our capital in Jerusalem 3,000 years ago. The truth is that although we represent only 0.2%, 1/5% of the world's population, the Jewish contribution to humanity in every field, in medicine, in science, in physics, in so many areas, has been unmatched. The truth is that Israel is not a burden to America. Israel is a strategic asset to America, as the American National Security Council itself says. I treasure and value, as do all Israelis, the great support we've been receiving from America all these years. And you, AIPAC, should also be credited for helping out in this alliance. But I want to move from aid to partnership, because that's where we are. We are partners. And no one can appreciate America more than Israel. And I believe that many, many Americans understand that America has no better ally than Israel. And a final word on anti-Semitism. It's been part of our history for over 2 millennia. 500 years before the birth of Christ, we've had anti-Semitism, and ever since, it's been there. The vilifications through the Middle Ages and through modern times, including right up to the Holocaust, continue. Now, some believe that after the Holocaust, there would be an end to this horrible curse. Well, it turns out it was only a brief interlude. And as anti-Semitism rears its ugly head again, there's only one thing to do in order to fight it. And that's to fight it. Whether it's in the military battlefield or on the political battlefield of public opinion in America or Europe or elsewhere, we have to fight it. So I have only one message for you. Don't bow your heads. Don't cower before it. People respect those who respect themselves and are willing to fight for the truth and fight for their rights. That's what every Jew should do. All Jews who pride themselves in being part of the great Jewish nation should actively fight anti-Semitism. It is the battle for Israel. It's the battle for the Jewish people. It's the battle for the great alliance with the United States of America. It's the battle for truth. We shall fight on all these fronts, and we shall win.
I beg, hold on, pay attention to this video. After this video, listen to what Mazan and the KANU tell the Israel about Biafra. And don't forget to share this video to everyone on every social media platform. And click the subscribe button for more updates. Share this video right now. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates.
Of a simple truth. Israel is coming back to Africa, and Africa is coming back to Israel. I believe in Africa. I believe in Africa. I believe in its potential, present and future. It is a continent on the rise. Its people are diverse and talented. I've made strengthening our relations one of our top priorities, national and international priorities of the State of Israel. It's the reason I became the first Israeli Prime Minister to visit Africa in decades. Well, one thing I can assure you, it won't be decades until an Israeli leader visits Africa again. It won't be 5 years, it'll be a few months. Africa and Israel share a natural affinity. We have, in many ways, similar histories. Your nations toiled under foreign rule. You experienced horrific wars and slaughters, and you are still fighting to get out of the past into the future, valiantly. And things and efforts that I deeply admire. With determination and conviction, you won your independence. You healed the wounds of the past to chart a future of hope for your people. This is very much our history.
Thank you for coming us. Mr. Namdi KANU.
Thank you. Yes.
From Biafra.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We will shortly tell the story of how did you happen to come here. But let's talk a little bit about your people story in Biafra. How many people there consider themselves Jewish, and how did it manifest itself?
Biafra in total has about a population of, say, 70 million people scattered all over the world. As you know, they've called us the wandering Jews of Africa. But those that identify themselves with their Jewish heritage is nearly about 50 million people.
15 million people?
50 million people.
Do they practice Judaism? They practice Judaism?
A significant number of them practice Judaism.
In what way?
In terms of their prayers, in terms of the Torah that they read, in terms of the kippah and the talit they used to pray, in terms of their recitation of their prayers, is a very significant segment of the population that actually practice it as we do, or most of us do in IPOB. The problem is that when IPOB is the indigenous people of Biafra, is this umbrella movement all over the world that is pursuing the emancipation of Biafra from Nigeria. So what's been happening is that when Christianity came with colonialism, a lot of our Jewish heritage was suppressed. We were made to feel ashamed of our Jewishness, so to speak. But luckily, unfortunately for us, a lot of people bravely maintain that very tradition and culture till this very day. If you go to Umweri in Anambra State, it is there. All over the world, it is there. And even the Encyclopedia Britannica of 1929 mentioned it quite specifically that the Igbos are the Jews of Africa, because all the traditions you have from circumcision to everything that you can think of in the book of Leviticus, we're talking about
the Igbo nation, the Igbo people.
Yes.
Not all of them are Jewish, right? Not all the Igbos are Jewish, or they are.
They are all Jewish. The problem is that with the influence and influx of Christianity as a result of colonialism, a lot of that was dampened down. What happened was a lot of our emphasis was moved away from the Torah, the Old Testament, to the New Testament. But because the Old Testament still contained aspects of our tradition and our culture, we accepted the Bible as it was given to us.
Okay, let's. We have a short clip showing you guys in Biafra in your Judaism way of life here.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah.
It's
the sound, centuries of colonial returning to what they say are their native roots. A place
Quite fascinating.
Very, very fascinating.
Now I want to look at the map of Biafra and Nigeria, and maybe this map tells a little bit of the story. So actually, you guys in Biafra, what are you struggling for? What is your aim in your struggle? Why there is such a confrontation between you and the authorities?
Because we want to go back to where we were before the British came. Most of our problems was basically made by the British. The way Nigeria was put together is the root cause of the problem.
I'm talking about these days. Okay, there was a war and Biafra was kind of independence between 1967 and 1970, I guess.
That's correct, yes.
And since then it's part of Nigeria. What do you want? You want an independence state of Biafra? You want to be a Jewish state? You want kind of autonomy? What did you like? What do we want?
We want an
for?
independent Jewish state, a Biafran state that is absolutely independent of anything to do with Nigeria, for the simple reason that we were independent before the British came.
But you want to be a Jewish state?
Absolutely. To go back to a way of life, there's a place called Arochuk where we come from. The same way you have Yerushalayim. The same way you have the temple in Yerushalayim, we had one in Arochuk, the same thing. So we want to go back to that way of life, to worshiping the one and only true God that we know.
Is there anyone within the Israeli establishment that recognize you as a Jewish people?
Absolutely. I'm sure that during the time of...
I'm just interrupting. This is you praying at the Western Wall at the Kotel.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. Yes. I prayed there also in the year 2013 when I came to Israel.
So coming back to my question about the recognition by Israel to your Jewish way of life, or to your Jewish heritage?
Our Jewish heritage.
Yeah.
And our way of life, yes. Isaac Rabin made some statements about that. Also, Henry Kissinger, the former United States Secretary of State, also made some comments about it as well. If you go to the Nixon papers regarding the Biafran War, it's all there, very clearly spelled out. But I think there seems to be this kind of paranoia that should Biafra get closer to Israel, that 70 million people will somehow flock to the land of Israel. But that is not the case. We are seeking Biafra, so we can return to Biafra and be in Biafra.
Let's go back to your personal story.
Yes.
You have been persecuted or arrested in Biafra. What was the story about?
I arrived in Nigeria, in Lagos, on the 14th of October 2015, and I was arrested from London. I was arrested for demanding for freedom for my people, because I run Radio Biafra in London, and the authorities didn't like it. Then I had to go down I had to go home basically to see my people, and they arrested me and kept me locked away for 19 months. 19 months? Yes, despite 2 court judgments to set me free. They took me to court, and the court...
More than a year and a half in custody?
Absolutely.
And then what happened?
And then they eventually granted me bail with very stringent conditions. When I came out, I continued to speak to my people. I continued to practice my Judaism, my Jewish faith. And one day they came to my house to kill me. The Nigerian army came to my house to kill me.
What was it like? I mean,
I wouldn't wish anybody to go through it. They killed 28 people in the process.
How many?
28 people died.
By the attempt to kill you?
To kill me, they killed 28 people.
How come they killed 28 people and they didn't get to you?
Because my people evacuated me before they could get to my bedroom.
And then you flew away?
Then they took me away and smuggled me out of Nigeria. I needed some time to recover, which I did, and then I had to make my way to Israel.
I see you're very excited.
I wouldn't call it excitement. I would say relief that I managed to make it to the only place that I feel safe in the whole world. I could have gone back to England, but I still don't feel safe to go back to England. That's why I stayed in Israel.
Okay, we're approaching the end of this conversation. Do you have any expectation from Israel government, from the Israeli society?
Yes, it is to live up to the obligations to defend Judaism and Jewish faith all over the world. We are being persecuted. We are suffering as a people. And it is the responsibility, I believe, moral responsibility of Israel to make sure that Biafra stands as an independent entity in Africa.
Namdi KANU from the Igbo people in Biafra. I want to thank you so much for this conversation and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much
on a personal level. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is a statement that says blood is thicker than what? Than water. And you cannot find your brother outside. You find your brothers inside. And how do you know your brother? A brother is one who comes to attend to your matter or your case or to your rescue when matter or issues in a critical. That is your brother. And that is why he ran to Israel for safety rather than going to UK. You know, for example, he knows what he was doing, because you can see UK, the British, the Civil War that claimed so many lives of the Biafrans was instigated and carried out and sponsored by who? By the UK. And as you can see that telling against him now, he holding the passport and was kidnapped. You know, it was illegal. Up to today, what has the UK Parliament or UK government, what have they done concerning or regard to that? Nothing. But you can see Israel, they are the one showing you that that blood is thicker than water. No matter what happened, no matter whose citizen you come from, so long you remain a Biafran man, a Biafran Igbo man, you are an Israeli in Africa.
Mr. Chinedu Michael, I understand that, of course, the Israel are brothers to the Igbos, the extension to Biafrans, but we understand that Donald currently is going through traveling, but seeing Israelites rallying, protesting, asking Nigerian government to release Nnamdi Kanu, asking British government to step in and ensure that their brother is released. How does it come to you?
No, it didn't come to me as a surprise anyway, because I noticed at the last 30th Biafran Day, I will see a lot that happened in Israel. I saw Israelis, both men and women. In fact, we saw the hair Jews, you know, mounting, celebrating the Biafran Day, celebrating the birth of the first Jewish African state. For me, for the Israelis, for the Jews of Israel to join, to even remember that day, you know, tells a lot of story of the supposed alliance or the supposed synergy or the bloodline, you know, let me put it that way, between the Biafrans, the Igbos of us, and of course the Jewish state. And I can see over time, I've seen aides of the Prime Minister of Israel making different statements referencing Biafra recognition, talking about Nnamdi Kanu, and a lot of people does not know the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is always being welcome within Jerusalem and of course the Western world. There's a lot of things that's attached to that, and we have built a relationship to the extent that the Israeli government themselves officially has recognized Biafra, of course the Igbos, you know, as one of the lost tribes of Israel. You know, we have the other ones from Massa, you know, Uganda. We have another one too from, of course, Ethiopia. We know the history, you know, as the only nation that was not colonized. But what we are saying at this point in time, that it has become a reality where we are seeing so many different lobbies from different parts of the world, different countries, different nations, you know, factoring the liberation of Biafra, talking about, you know, another African consciousness called Nnamdi Kanu, you know, talking about Ibrahim Traore, you know, talking about Nelson Mandela, you know, and a lot of people are surprised that the Biafran recognition agenda, and of course that has been identified on several bases, even though it was being reported some time ago that the Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu has gone as far as, you know, signing a Biafran charter, you know. So these are some of the things we want to see. And of course, the Israeli embassy, you know, located in Biafran land, is also a factor of trust. It's also a factor of patriotism. It's also a factor of brotherhood and bloodline and recognition of an entity or a brother that can never hold.
If they like, may they detain all the whole Biafrans. One thing that is assured is that Biafra must come. Is a destiny that must be fulfilled. So no matter how they try to do it, me waiting I know be say my children will enjoy the fruit of Biafra. So all these things where they happen right now is something that must happen because it's not an easy journey. Mazina the Kalu say it's not an easy journey. Samonet by Ivan Parker. So it's not an easy journey. So but I believe that by this year runs down, I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that Biafra will come. So the children of Israel, it took them so many years for them to get to their promised land, which is what is happening to the people of Biafra. So we have the same like minds with them. So I'm not going to just talk much. Drop your opinion at the comment section. Don't forget to share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. The only way you fit to support us now to share this video. Thank you, my lovely people. Drop your thoughts at the comment section and write freedom for Mazina the Kalu and freedom for the people of Biafra.